Guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell by the title, this is a story, and this one will be about my tubal ligation. Like, subscribe, and comment in the section below, and also click that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video. So I think the first thing that I want to do, it'll be like a story and Q&A type of video. So the beginning part, I'll just kind of tell you the procedure and everything, and then towards the end I'll kind of do some questions and answer them. So the first question would be why I decided to tie my tubes, and especially at 25. So basically, there is probably just one reason. I already have 5 kids now, so I don't want no more. And babies are expensive. Like, I don't even know how I made it to 5 kids. Well, I do know. Since I wasn't sure, I didn't want to do it and then regret it. So yeah, so I just waited, and then I got pregnant, and then I was like, I am definitely getting my tubes tied right after I have this baby. So that's what happened. Nervous. I was definitely nervous before going into surgery, and the reason was because the surgery. I've never had any type of surgery at all in my life. So this was my first and only surgery that I've been in, that I've been procedured on, I guess. If you guys hear my kids in the background, yeah, they're playing game. So if you hear that in the background, I am sorry, but that's the life of a mom of 5. So I had my surgery on October 19, the day after I had my daughter. And if you guys want to go see my labor and delivery vlog or my labor and delivery story, I'll leave those in the cards and in the description below, so you guys can go check that out. Before we get into the story, I wanted to make like a little disclaimer that this is the way that my hospital did. I know there is like every hospital has their own way of performing certain surgeries and stuff, but this is my hospital, so obviously yours might not be the same like mine. So I went in the day after I had my daughter, which was October 19, in the morning at 10. And I will say, before you get there, you can't eat anything past midnight. That's what they did with me. So like, I had my daughter the day prior, and then at midnight I stopped eating anything. I don't think I even drank water. I'm not sure, because this is 3 months after. But you can't eat nothing after midnight. So they performed it, and they had to make sure all of the bleeding is normal and all of that, because if not, they're gonna have to postpone it. So the morning of the surgery, which was around, I'm gonna say 10, they came in, and they took me downstairs to the OR, like, waiting room. And basically there, they just ask you questions about your health, about your delivery. In my case, since I had the baby, like, the day prior, they asked me all of that, and everything was good. And they explained to me what they was gonna do. Even during surgery, they explained it to me, where I understood, and if I didn't, they will clarify it. They did ask me if I had signed, like, that I was giving them permission to do the surgery, and that I wanted the surgery and all of that. And I do have that paper, which, let me go get it, just to read you guys, like, overall what it says. So this is the form, and it's yellow, and then in the back is the same one, just pink. And this is basically a consent form that the, you know, like everything, where you're going to get it, that you understand that is permanent and not reversible. Went to my OB and told them that I wanted to be to get my tube side. They gave me this consent form which I signed in the office, but it's not permanent. Like, if the day comes of the surgery and you decide you don't want to do it no more, that's it. There's nothing to it. This just says that you want to do it, and if you change your mind later, you can. Like, obviously, you know, not like after you had it done, but like before you get it done. My consent form, to make sure I understood it and all of that. And then I had to wait there, because I believe there was someone that they were performing in the OR. I believe it was the C-section that they were doing, so I had to wait. And I'll say they performed it around 10 o'clock because I had to wait like 30 minutes. So, excuse me. So I went in at 9:30 a.m. and then at 10, I went to the OR. And first, what they do is they ask you again, if you are sure, if you want to get this procedure done, it is irreversible, you know, all of that. And they asked me many times that just to make sure that I'm, you know, this is what I want. So then I went in the OR room and everything was so white. Like I said, this was my first time in a, like a, you know, OR. So I was like so white and everything looked so clean. And, you know, I was really nervous, like really nervous, because I didn't know what to expect. So, and they were like the greatest team ever because they had like music playing and stuff. So that, you know, it kind of helped with my nerves. Um, so on the board, you know, they put what time we starting, which was at 10. And then every time certain procedures were done, they'll write it down on the chart. Over, and they gave me a medicine in my back. It didn't feel like epidural because I've had an epidural before. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's hard. So they told me they was gonna inject, I believe it was epidural. One was epidural, and then which it didn't hurt because I knew how it was. And then they was gonna put something else, another medicine in, and they explained to me that that I was gonna feel like a shock, you know, and you know, like my leg might move, but try to not move it. So when they put the medicine in, my, like, the shock went in my, it felt that I was gonna feel like a shock, you know, and you know, like my leg might move, but try to not move it. So when they put the medicine in, felt that shock like in my private area. No lie. Like, it felt like they had shocked me. Like, you know, when they shock you, you know, like getting electrocuted basically. Like, not for like 10 seconds or anything. It just was like quick, like 1 second, and then like right when I felt the pain, like my legs move, you know. And there was like, oh, see, wasn't that bad, right? And I was like, oh, like I had to catch my breath. And after they injected that, I'm gonna call it the shock medicine, they laid me down, and then they put my IV in my arm for fluids. And you know, they kind of strapped me down like you would at a, if you're getting a C-section basically, you know, like, you know, with your arms out and your legs, you know, normal. And they performed, you know, for like sensation wise. So hip up, they'll, you know, go up with a needle like this. And then they asked me if I felt any pain while they were going up like that. And I was like, yeah, I feel it. So then they was like, okay, we're gonna give you more medicine so it can get more numb, because that's what I was afraid of, that when, you know, they start cutting me, I was gonna feel the pain. So then they started again, and they went back up, and they said, just tell me when you feel pain. So they just kept going, and I was like right there, and then they'll put some more medicine. So you kind of get the idea. So they basically made me numb all the way to right here, and they told me if I felt like touching like this, I don't know how to explain it, not touching, more like if I felt the pain, tell them. But if it was just like, like movement like this where it doesn't hurt, I'm trying to explain it, but that's how it was. So I think they had to put that medicine like 4 or 5 times to make sure I was completely numb here. And there was like, I feel it, but I don't feel the pain basically. So they were okay, we're gonna, since you're numb everywhere, we're gonna start the procedure. They put this like blue sheet over me, like when I was laying down. And this procedure is done while you're awake. Um, that's why that was another thing I was scared of, because I didn't want to feel any pain at all. So they had the blue blanket up, and basically like a C-section. I think they do the same thing. They put a like a little sheet up so you can't see. We're gonna start making the first incision, and I was like, okay. They asked me, are you okay? And I was like, yes. So there was always that communication of me being like calm and not nervous and all of that. So once every, I will say like 5 minutes, the guy would come and ask me if I'm okay, and kind of talk to me to take my mind off of the what was happening, you know, on the other side of the blanket. And I was like, yes, I'm fine. I'm a little bit nervous, but I can get through this. And he was like, don't worry, it only lasts it only takes like an hour, which it did. It only took an hour. And so then right when the operation was done, they was like, okay, we're done. We're just suturing you up. And that was it. And then, on the chart, they put what time they finished, which was 11 team. And I think that's what made me like less nervous, that they were calm and collective. We heard like a little, like music in there, like low music, which calmed me down a lot. And I appreciated that of them. So after I got out, they took me to that empty space where, like the recovery room. And I stayed there until I could feel my legs again. Because if you don't feel your legs, you can't go to your room. So the, like the anesthesia, it took about, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 hours. So I can start feeling sensation in my legs. And they did give me food after that. It was around lunchtime, because it was like 1 at that time. So they finished and I ate my food, and then I started feeling some sensation in my legs. And I told the lady, they'll tell you, oh, pick up your leg to see how much you can pick up and all of that. And I believe by 2 o'clock, I was in my 2 p.m. I was in my room again with the baby and my mom. It was like a quick procedure, and I was like, I don't know why I was getting so like nervous. I will answer some questions about my experience, you know, throughout this whole tubal ligation story and stuff. So if I look down, it's because I wrote down some notes just to make sure that I don't forget anything. First question is, what procedure did I get? So the procedure that I got was called a bilateral tubal ligation, and in the form that you use, the consent form you sign, they'll tell you what kind of procedure they're going to do, how long surgery lasted. So my surgery lasted an hour, and then recovery, like post-op, was, I believe, took me a week and a half, like almost 2 weeks to recover. And yeah, there was no discomfort at all. Management. The pain, it was not bad as I thought it was going to be. It was, my stomach was really tender, but it wasn't like I needed like a bunch of medications. But then again, procedure all over again. And the answer is definitely yes, like 100%. I find, but no, I would do it all over again. Do I regret the procedure? No, I don't. I thought I was going to, like regret it, which after having the procedure, I was like, oh my gosh, but like I was kind of insecure because, I couldn't have kids and all, but I was like, that is really it was more of a benefit for me because I already have 5 kids and I want to give each of my kids their individual time with them, so I am totally fine with my 5 kids and I do not regret this at all. My stomach, from far you can barely tell, but let me go up close and kind of explain to you what they did. I do like a 1 inch incision, a horizontal incision right below your belly button, and they do go through your belly button too, but you can't see it unless it's like all in there, but you can't tell that it was even worked on. But they went through here, I believe, to release some gas that was in my stomach so they can see my fallopian tubes. You guys saw the incision is not bad at all. And I know other procedures that they do is the laparoscopic tubal ligation, which they go with they put like 2 little, I think, little cameras through the sides, like in the bottom. But I'm not gonna go into that because that wasn't the procedure that I got done. But then, like I said, many different ways of doing this procedure. This was my way. They did put they didn't like sew or anything, they just glued it together, and yeah, it went away. The glue came out, I believe, like a week later, and it was healed. Like the scar was closing up and there was no problem with it. Thought on this procedure, I think if you are 100% like determined that you're not getting no kids in the future whatsoever, if you are done having kids, I think this is a great way for you to, like prevent pregnancies. But if you don't want to go this route, there's many, resources out there that you can do to prevent pregnancy, obviously. But I just how just like a diagram of a tube that's tied, and there are many ways that they you can get it cut, tied, and burned, but I just got mine's tied. So like, subscribe, and comment down below for anything that you guys have, or maybe like your experience getting your tubes tied. I would love to hear them, and you can be notified every time I upload a video, and that's about it. So I'll see you guys next time.